Hello everyone! If you're new here, my name is Crystal, also known as The.Book.Gypsy on Instagram, and today I'm going to be doing an August book haul for you. I bought so many books this month. I don't even know if this pile is all of them, but these are the ones that I remember I bought this month. So yeah, so let's get into it. I'm going to start off with Scream All Night, and this is by Derek Millman. I don't know much about this. I know it's kind of like a thriller in a way, so I don't want to know too much about it, but I know it is about a boy whose father used to make like B-list, C-list, D-list horror movies. Dario is the main character of this book, and he swore that he would never go back to Moldavia Studios, which is where his father filmed most of his movies. For whatever reason, he never wants to go back there, but his brother invites him back, and he does go back. And he is invited to some type of weird ceremony that is going on. Things ensue, things happen. Apparently there's going to be a lot of screaming, so I'm really excited to read this. It's very reminiscent of a lot of horror movies that I do love to watch, so I can't wait to read this and see what it's about. So this is definitely on my fall TBR for sure, either for September or for October. I haven't decided yet. I wanted to make a TBR video for you guys, but I just constantly veer off track so often that I can't do that. So I'm going to be just doing wrap-ups at the end of the month and some reading vlogs as I'm reading, you know, during the week and stuff like that. This way you know what I'm reading or what I'm currently reading, what I have read in the month. But picking something before I am in the mood for it really is not working out for me very well. And next up I have R.L. Stine's Scream and Scream Again, another screaming book. This is 20 stories, not all written by R.L. Stine, but by a slew of authors, including himself. And it's just, you know, scary short stories. So I'm very excited to read this. I love R.L. Stine, I love all his books, and I love the fact that he made an anthology of horror stories. So I'm very happy to get to this fall. It's perfect October read, so I'm definitely going to save this for October. Nevermore. And this is The Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This book I've heard really good things about. It is a middle grade novel. It is kind of a reminiscent of Harry Potter, which I feel like a lot of middle grade books are these days, kind of following those lines. But I'm excited to get into this. I haven't seen anything less than like 4 stars for this book on Goodreads and other areas that I have seen reviews for it. So I'm excited to read Nevermore and see what it's about. The book that I picked up is The Dark Vault, which by Victoria Schwab. These are both the archived and the unbound in one book, which I'm super excited about. I have not finished this little series. I have read the archived. I did not pick up unbound, so I'm happy to have them both in here in this big bind up. And I really loved the archive. I loved her storyline in that. I love the world that she had built in this series, where the dead are considered histories, and you almost go to like a library and you take them out, and it's really, really cool. I'm super excited to read the unbound. I'm thinking about picking it up for September just so I can finish it off and check off all my Victoria Schwab books off my list. I picked up a couple books while I was on vacation, so if you guys saw my vacation vlog, you've seen some of these books already, but I just wanted to include it in my book haul because I did buy them in August. So I picked up Station 11, and this is by Emily St. John Mandel. I have been seeing this floating around so much recently on Bookstagram. I've been seeing it a lot more than when it first came out. So I'm super, super excited to get into this. It is a post-apocalyptic type, considered science fiction, but it does tend to read a little bit more like literary fiction, but it does have the science fiction elements. I'm on chapter 9, so I'm still really early into the book, but I'm really loving it. It grabbed me from the first page. I'm looking forward to finishing this, hopefully this week, before September. Next up, I have purchased Kings of the Wild. This is by Nicholas Ames, and Just Reads Books has been reading this, and she said she's been loving it. I looked up reviews on Goodreads for this, and I've seen nothing but amazing things for this book. I'm super, super excited to read this. It is basically about a band of mercenaries who for years would just like fight evil or do whatever they have to do together, but they decided to break up, and it says in the back here, they've grown old, fat, drunk, or a combination of three, which I think is so funny. Something happens to one of the members' daughters, and he comes to get the band's leader and try to get the gang back together to get his daughter back and fight this evil that's happening. I'm very happy that I picked this up. I feel like this is a book that I will love. And it is a big chunker, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. So I'm very happy that I picked this up on vacation. I wanted to start reading it as soon as I got it. But it's like one of those books that you're so excited to read, but like you're afraid to pick it up. So hopefully I get to this in September. It is on my list of must-reads in September. The next book that I picked up on vacation was Dreadful Company by Vivian Shaw, which I found out later is the second book in a series, not the first book. So I still have to get the first book before I can read this. So I don't want to tell you too much about what this one is about because it kind of gives away for what the first one is. But from what I can get from it is Greta Helsing is a doctor and she deals with the undead. I'm very curious to see what this story is about. I have not seen any of this trending on BookTube at all, but it has gotten really good reviews on Goodreads, so I'm curious to see what it's about, and maybe I will read this in October. It kind of has a little bit of a Halloween vibe to it. There's some bats on the cover. I don't know if you could see them. Skull, and it's in Paris. I think it's pretty cool. Next up on vacation, I had bought The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and this book has been getting so much praise on Bookstagram and on BookTube. I am believing the hype. I picked it up and I will be reading it very soon. I'm sure all of you know what this book is about, so I don't have to explain much about it, but I heard it's amazing and it's a 5-star read for most of the people that I know. Lastly, I picked up some graphic novels, which are Monstrous Volume 1 and Volume 2. I heard great things about this series, so I picked it up at an Amazon Books on vacation, and I started reading the first volume, and I'm loving the art style. I'm loving the story. I will continue reading this for the rest of this week before September. Hopefully I will get Volume 1 done. And yeah, so I'm really excited. I know the author had won an award for her writing in Monstrous. Very curious to see how this series is going to end up. I have Crowns of Crosswall, and this is by D.E. Knight. This is an independent published book. The author had contacted me because she wanted me to read her book, and I picked it up, and it is so good. It's really well written. The atmosphere is great. It's super reminiscent of Harry Potter, so if you are a Harry Potter fan, definitely check out this book. It's on Amazon. If you read the reviews, there's great reviews for it. I am so happy that I got my hands on this. It's about a girl, and it's like that chosen one trope kind of thing, but she goes to a school, a magic school, kind of like out of nowhere. She was like living this crazy life where she was basically like a slave, and all of a sudden she's going to a magic school and all these crazy things are happening, and she basically does find out she is the chosen one. So it's her trials and seeing how she overcomes all these obstacles that come in her way. It's a really, really cute book. I love the premise. I love the ideas that the author has come up with. So if you're looking for a book similar to Harry Potter, and it is a little bit older, I feel, it reads a little bit more YA, check out The Crowns of Crosswall by D.E. Knight. And if you could look at this, the cover is so beautiful. Like, whoever designed this book is a genius. For an independent book, it's great. I have some independent books, and this is amazing. And I love how it's like a soft, like textured cover. And there's fairies in this story as well. You could tell. They're called Harrys, and they are in lanterns, and they are what brings the world light. So it's really, really cool. And next up, I have bought 2 books in a series. I have Wicked Like a Wildfire and Fierce Like a Firestorm by Lana Popovic. I'm really enjoying Wicked Like a Wildfire. I am like 3/4 of the way through. I have 100 pages left. It is really great, and I love the witchy aspects in it. The only problem that I'm having right now is I felt like the first half of the book, there wasn't much happening, but the descriptions and the world building and all the explanations are amazing. So I really don't have much, bad to say. I feel like this is going to be a 5-star read for me. But there are some problems in it. I feel like it was a little slow in the beginning. But other than that, I'm really excited to see how this is going to turn out. It is about 2 sisters and a mother, and basically they're witches, but they have to keep it hidden from the townspeople where they are. We come to find out that the mom had ran from her old life to give her daughters a better life. But at the same time, she was running from something that it was inevitable, and she couldn't run from it. It was going to happen anyway. The daughters look to find out what happened to their mom, what is going on, and who they really are as witches. And I'm at the part where they kind of are starting to figure it out, what's happening. So it's really, really interesting. And the second book, which I will be following up with, which the covers of these books are so pretty. They're my favorite covers that I own, I think. I'm going to be reading this immediately after this. Next up are 2 books that were in book boxes that I had received this month. One is from my Owl Crate, which is Grace and Fury, which this cover is beautiful. I'm very excited to read this. This is also another book about sisters. My uppercase box, I have, well, it's not really a box, it's like a bag, but you know what I mean. In my uppercase bag, I had received Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson, which I have never read anything by Mary E. Pearson, but I do know a lot of people that have read her books and love them. So I feel like since this is the first book in a series, I know it is written in past worlds that she has built, but because this is the first book in a series, I'm going to try to get into it and see how I feel about her writing and her writing style and her character development. And then if I love that, then I will read more from her past series. So let me know if you think that's a right move for me, like if I should start with Dance of Thieves or if I really should just pick up her other books before I get into this. But this cover is just so beautiful and I want to read it as soon as possible. Lastly, which I picked this up yesterday, and I had told my boyfriend that I was on a book buying ban until October, until when like all the new books are coming out, because I have bought so many books this month. But I couldn't resist seeing this baby on the shelf. This is Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter. I love Karen Slaughter's writing. I think she has like some mind to write the things that she writes. This book is supposed to be one of her best, and I am so excited to read this. This is basically a book about how well do you really know somebody? Do you really know them as well as you think, and who they are as people in your life? I'm very curious to see how this plays out. A lot of her books are very graphic. They don't hold back. I'm really looking forward to reading this. I feel like this is a great fall thriller read. So this is mother-daughter type book. So I'm curious to see how it all plays out, and really like so happy that Karen Slaughter came out with a new book. This is like highly anticipated for the year for me. I think that is it for my August book haul as of now. I haven't bought much more books. I do have, behind me is my Harry Potter shelf, which is like a little weak right now, but I have 2 new box sets coming of the Harry Potter series. I have the children's hardback edition, that is the UK edition coming, and I also have the new US paperbacks coming, which should be here like tomorrow. So I'm really excited to dress up my Potter shelf a little bit more, which I have all of the old hardbacks, like these hardbacks. And I think they're disgusting. I can't put them on my shelf. I've read them so many times. So I'm really excited to get the children's version hardbacks because they are so pretty, and they have stars on them and they're sparkly, and I can't wait to read those. Once I get them, I'm reading them. So that is it for my August book haul. I will be doing some more vlogs for you guys in the future of my reading progress and what I'm reading in the month. I'm sorry about no TBR video. It's just not gonna work out. I never read what I anticipate reading in the beginning of the month because I am such a mood reader. So for that reason, I am not doing TBRs anymore. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, just like and subscribe down below, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!